But anyway, let me go ahead and shift back. Hey everybody, I'm going to start this video over because there was some audio issues. Thanks for your patience. It's great to be back. I know I've taken a couple of weeks off. There's been a lot of things going on in real life. Lots of things I've been helping get launched, some friends that have needed my help, but also some ministry opportunities that have come by involving like fitness, outreach, human trafficking. There's a lot of people that are really like depressed right now. I've been trying to get involved and just share like the hope that I have with others. And so that's something that we've been focusing on. Anyways, I hope that you guys, if you need prayer, just put your name in the comments. Just say, I need some prayer, or can you pray for me, please? I will do so at the end of this video so that you can have, so that I can pray with you and for you here in the live. But also let me know what you guys think is the most exciting thing that we're going to go over today from the DC Fandom announcements. We have all of those right here, and there's a lot to that. I'm going to try to jet through it as fast as possible. Anyways, I'm going to shift my screen so you guys can see me. It's great to be with you guys. It's great to see you. I can see now that the audio is working. Hopefully you guys have it now. Nerdy Blurb TV is already in the chat. What's up, dude? It's good to see you again. He says, let's go. Missed you, buddy. I know I took a few weeks off. I'm back, though, refreshed. We took some time to be in Colorado with some family, and we're back here in California in the Bay Area. It is on fire, but we're actually doing okay. Today it was actually a lot clearer. There was hardly any smoke. I think that we're starting to beat the fire. Hopefully, it'll be able to be contained soon. And maybe we'll get some rain, praying for rain. So pray for rain for California and for Colorado as well, because they're on fire too. And so then Nerdy Blurb TV says about the audio. And then he says, yes, Queen. Yes, yeah. So I've got this new setup I wanted to show you guys in the background. You know, I've changed some camera angles. I've moved my computer from the corner now to the middle of my garage. And it's actually working a lot better, oddly enough, as a physical layout for my garage to open up the space. For some reason, it is just working better now. Using a physical background has been beneficial. I appreciate that. I do have green screen at the ready in case I need to do a video like that. But you guys be the judge. Tell me if you guys like what you see. And if you don't like what you see, be sure to tell me that as well, so I can take that into account and work on what works best for you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into this, and then make sure to stay tuned at the end. I'll share with you guys a couple verses that blessed me this week, and just a message from the scriptures so that you guys can be blessed as well. So let's go ahead and cut over to the news. All right, so from the DC Fandom event, which was an online presentation event from DC, from Warner Bros., from HBO Max, and even DC, the DC streaming service, which is kind of fizzling out. It just came on the heels of a massive downsizing. They had to let a lot of people go from employment over at the DC streaming service, the DC Universe app. That's unfortunate. That's not good, but they are shifting focus over to HBO Max, and a lot of us who've been paying attention have noticed this shift starting to happen as well months ago. Even before COVID hit, we were like, it looks like they're cutting DC Universe out. Everything pretty much except for like the comics, which will be on there as well. And everything else, all the shows are moving over to HBO Max. So anyways, but there is good news. So there was a lot that was kind of like not so exciting. There was a lot of delays. And this is to be expected, I guess, with the pandemic. But we, like people aren't allowed to work. You're not allowed to shoot. You have to stay 6 feet apart. All kinds of BS. But with this, the DC Fandom event has brought a lot of enthusiasm back to the fandom. And this is what I want to talk with you guys about. So let's read it. DC Fandom, watch The Batman, Justice League Snyder Cut reveals, and more. And when they say more, there is a heck of a lot more. Let's go ahead and get into some of this. I'm going to give you guys just the gist. So first, the DC Fandom is kind of like a Comic-Con, except for it's for DC. So there's like no Avengers, no Marvel, no Star Wars. But if you're a fan of DC characters like Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, you'll want to tune in. And this Fandom event should go well beyond the big names. August 22nd event covered the whole DC world, from comic books to movies and TV shows and video games. Like literally everything DC was announced, and they really were very comprehensive with the upcoming projects. They actually gave a lot of new information, a lot of new hype, even for things that didn't have a lot of new information, but they did it in a way that was very exciting, and we'll talk about that very shortly. So after mass layoffs. Hollywood Reporter reports that majority of staff from the streaming service DC Universe and the parent company Warner Bros. They lost a lot of employees, but they shifted focus recently to the recently launched HBO Max, which I still have to get on. But there's a new teaser trailer, which is actually more. I think it's more of a trailer because it's like a full trailer pretty much. But they gave the release date, and they also have. They also announced a spin-off show, which was announced prior, but they talked a little bit more about it. And Matt Reeves weighed in on the new trailer, and it looks really freaking good. Almost everybody who's seen this trailer is really enjoying it, really appreciating it. I've talked to a bunch of people about it. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it. I'm not going to play it here just for the sake of time, but man, is there a lot in there. There are some subtle teases that may include, like, for instance, there's all the villains we knew about. There's Penguin, there's Riddler, there's Catwoman. There's a Gotham City DA who is under a different name, not Harvey Dent, but might also become kind of a Harvey Dent. We don't know. And then plenty of others. Like there's a gang with skulls on their face. It could be a reference to perhaps like the what's his name, Black Skull, the Black Mask. That's what it is, Black Mask from Birds of Prey, and from the Harley Quinn movie. And so lots and lots of there's tons of groups that could be. I'm not trying to say that that's who it is, but Robert Pattinson's looking really good in the suit. The suit itself looks amazing. The action, there's a sequence where Batman like encounters this gang and then beats the tar out of one of them, stops, and then says, "I am vengeance," and then continues to beat the tar out of him. It's a really good scene from what we can see in the trailer. The trailer is phenomenal. So if the movie holds up to what the trailer's doing, I'm really, really freaking excited. Not just for what we see now, which is a whole new level of excitement and enthusiasm, but also what I've been saying since the get is just that this Batman is actually a trilogy on its own. It's not part of the DCEU. It's unclear whether or not it is part of Joker. It doesn't appear to be, and there has been no confirmation that it is, but people have speculated. And this is just fanjecture, I guess you could say, but as a unofficial word. But this Batman trilogy will take place in its own universe, but they also announced a show, and that's what it says here. So while the film isn't scheduled for release until October 1st, 2021, next year, it's already received a spin-off show about the Gotham Police Department with Reeves producing. So Matt Reeves, the director of this film, is going to produce the show that will take place in his own film universe in this trilogy. And just from this film, just from what we already knew, even prior to the trailer, there's a ton of villains in this. There's a ton of villains that are rumored to be in this and confirmed that from the director through verbal confirmation who will be in it, who are not in the trailer. But Joker's supposed to be coming down the pipe for this. Also, there in the trailer, you see a card from the Riddler. And on the front cover, like first it shows a guy whose face has been taped from here to here. Basically, it's like a mask, and it says "No More Lies." And it's it's one of the wealthy guy. I think he was the guy that was up for re-election. He got killed by the Riddler, presumably. Taped over it, I'm pretty sure it was the Riddler. And then you'll see it for yourself. But the card has an owl on the front, and then it talks about what do liars do. Like what do liars do when they die? And it says they lie still. And it's a coded message, but you can kind of decipher what it is just based on the riddle. It's not super hard. And then also the amount of like encrypted characters that are there. And then someone online had already decrypted it, but it wasn't hard. Like I guessed it, a bunch of people guessed it, but someone actually went to the trouble of like actually matching up the letters. And so that's it just confirmed what we were all thinking. Not hard, but it's the idea. It's like this Sherlock Holmes. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Yes, the crime in the trailer is probably committed by the Riddler, but what is the Riddler saying, and what is he trying to show the Batman? And I think he's trying to expose the Court of Owls, which will lead into the second and third film. That's my like thinking, not confirmed or anything, but this is a lot of fun to speculate, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this trilogy. So the show takes place in the same universe. That's like, this is how much excitement I've gotten just from watching this trailer, just from what's come from this Fandom event. A lot to talk about. And you guys can already see right here, Wonder Woman 1984. I'm going to jump ahead. We can talk about that one at a later time, and I probably will make videos for each of these so I can just go into depth because I don't want to waste too much time. discussing all of this stuff, which I love. But let's, like I said before, let's move on. So Wonder Woman 1984, I was already pretty excited about this, but the trailer is looking really good. Now, most people really enjoyed Wonder Woman, the first movie, and I did as well. This movie is looking like it's shaping up to be, in my estimation, just as good. We will see, though. Time will tell. I am not like the most. I think there's going to be a lot of people that watch this film and feel like it kind of goes in a closer to Marvel-esque direction. And I think Wonder Woman might have been the first film that really went in that Marvel direction, kind of closer to Thor, which is where Patty Jenkins was originally hired to get into the comic book kind of world, was with Thor: The Dark World. But then she got off of the project. She basically said, I don't believe in what we're supposed to do. They're not letting me change it. So I don't think this film's going to work, and I don't think it's going to work for me. So she walked away. That's what is said. She might have been, we don't really truly know. Sometimes they say creative differences and you don't get the full story. But we have heard from her since in interviews that that's kind of where she's saying it went. That may or may not be a much more kind way to address the separation between her and Marvel, because some other actors and actresses had voiced extreme disapproval in her leaving the project as if it were something that were not voluntary. But all of that is speculation at this point. So basically, I think that Patty Jenkins is a great director. I think that she did a great job with Wonder Woman, but I do think that it's kind of in a more Marvel direction with the tone and feel, which I think is one of the reasons why most people really liked it. Not just because it's like a lot of people suggest that it's because it was female led. I think it's because they got a great cast. I think because they worked together really well. The director was able to bring the story, the script, and everything together. The editing, music, everything was just, it worked so well together, I thought. And she executed that movie beautifully. I think that the trailer is showing that this movie is going to shape up to be something really cool, but I'm also not entirely sure what the exact, I think the plot of this new one is going to revolve mostly around Cheetah, which is a good thing because I like movies that are kind of villain driven. But I also don't really know what Wonder Woman's arc is going to be in this exactly. We know that she's going to get the Hera battle armor, the gold armor with the wings. That's cool. I'm excited. A lot of good shots here of Cheetah. You can kind of get a much better look at it. But again, not a whole lot, but we do know that this one's due out in October 2nd this year, 2020. So we can expect that very soon. I am very excited for this one. But again, I think actually, and this is weird to say because before the DC Fandom event, this was one of the ones I was more excited about. But I think, and this is not to put it down in any way, but there's so many announcements that came out that my enthusiasm for I think it must be 12 other projects have risen exponentially. Whereas my enthusiasm for Wonder Woman 1984 is a little higher than it was before, but not compared to a lot of these other projects which have gotten more information. I'm really excited. And Wonder Woman is always a good thing. I really, really like Gal Gadot in the role. I think she's perfect for the role. Some people disagree with that, but I really like her there. And you guys can check that out for yourselves as well. It's a cool trailer. You got to see it. I think a lot of the shots were recycled from the last one. Obviously, they only have so much to work with as far as publicity without giving too much away. Not the best trailer that was released. In fact, this might be my least favorite trailer, but I am still really excited for the movie. It didn't reduce my enthusiasm. It's just that DC's killing it with these trailers. You'll see what I mean when you start to watch the trailers, because almost every other trailer is like friggin' brilliant. This one's good too, but you'll see what I mean. All right, Justice League, the Snyder Cut. The DC, this one's awesome. I'm really excited for this. It's also really satisfying as a DC fan to be able to say, like, okay, the Justice League movie by Joss Whedon, and this isn't his fault. There was a lot that he was trying to work with. He had a limited budget. He was using someone else's footage. Then he had to come in and try to get some of his own footage, and then, it was just not a good situation. Unfortunately, Joss was one of the people that got screwed in that deal. Not just Zach. Obviously, Zach he got screwed because his daughter committed suicide. That horrifying tragedy. And then when he steps aside, someone else comes in. The show must go on, as they say, but the show ended up sucking, and he has to bear part of that burden forever, even while he's also grieving the loss of a family member, so a daughter, no less. So horrible situation all around. It is very nice that that Zack Snyder is able to come back and actually give the fans what they want. This is something that I've been wanting for not as long as others, but because I was pretty late on the bandwagon, but I got on as soon as like Jason Momoa started talking about it on social media, being like, I saw it. That's when I got curious. I was like, okay, hold up. I know there's footage out there, like raw footage. I didn't realize how much footage. If he's saying he saw it, that means there's quite a bit of footage already done. So I need to go back and reassess what I know. And so that's when I started to follow the rabbit trail. And I was like, holy cow, like everyone's pretty much confirming this. Now they've even brought back Batman, and we'll see what happens. And for the record, I'll show you guys really quick the IMDb page for the Snyder Cut. It reveals that there's 4 episodes coming in 2021 to HBO Max, which each one is supposed to be an hour long. It's a 4-hour thing. It's 4 installations of, or I'm sorry, 4 installments of 1 hour. And so it'll basically be like a 4-part movie almost, except for they'll be short movies, 1 hour each. I'm flipping ecstatic. I can't wait. It's going to be cool because we're actually going to get to see Iris West by Kiersey Clemens. Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are coming back, obviously. Amy Adams seems to be the first name on the series cast list, which is interesting because she didn't seem important at all in Joss Whedon's Justice League. We see more of like Amber Heard, for instance, as Mira. Steppenwolf is back, but hopefully in a much more appropriate role. Like they showed him in a hood, which I think is a much better look than when he had the, like the full, like, I don't know. He just looked really unfinished in the Joss Whedon version. I'm hopeful that they will take the time to just dial in that CGI. Even if they don't, if he's got a much more minor role, that'll be better to me, because I'm here for Joe Manganiello. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm here to see Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke. That is what I want to see. I want to see Batman and Joe Manganiello, and I want them to freaking follow up on this and make Joe Manganiello's either Deathstroke or what's it called? The Doom, Legion of Doom. They got to do something like that. Like they got to do something. That's what I'm saying. And Ezra Miller's Barry Allen, there's a lot going on there. Plenty of news I will get to as well about that. But as far as it pertains to the Snyder Cut, there's a really sweet trailer for the Snyder Cut, and there's some footage of them putting it together, so you can see some of the scenes, like with the blue screen, the green screen, the action sequences where it's not finished. There's no CGI, but you can see that there's scenes going on that were not part of the Joss Whedon thing. A lot of footage was not used in the Joss Whedon, apparently, and a lot of great footage, a lot of great scenes, great quotes and stuff. Extended versions of the scenes that we saw that were obviously cut for time by like a massive amount of time. And you can see a lot going on here. Antiope, Commissioner Gordon, Darkseid, Queen Hippolyta, Silas Stone, Aquaman, Barry Allen. This is not even a comprehensive list of the cast. More will come, but in fact, if it goes the way that I think it's going to go, I think we're also going to get to see Sam Benjamin play the Unknown Soldier. That Unknown Soldier is very, 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 very likely to be Green Lantern. There was interviews, if you guys haven't seen it. Anyway, I made another video about that. You guys can go back there. It's on my channel, one of the recent videos. You can find it. Big old Green Lantern thumbnail. Can't miss it. All right. Anyways, I'll move on. I could talk for days about what's going on here with the Snyderverse. I'm really pumped, and I do think, even though they said that it's not going to be DC canon, I think they're lying. I think they're going to wait, and they're going to see how the fans react to this, and then from there, they're going to respond according to what the fans want, because clearly this entire package of the Snyder Cut is to please the fans and to get fans excited again, because fans were not excited. Fans were not excited at all. There was some excitement generated from like Aquaman a little bit, but so much time has passed that no one cares anymore. There was rumor of like a animated Aquaman series by James Wan, which is supposedly still in the works. We're not sure. We're going to find out. That's supposed to be going to HBO Max as well. But no one's heard anything about it. So like, where's the excitement? I think we're going to hear about that later. I'll get to that shortly. And then tons of other things that are going to tie into this. Anyways, I don't want to belay the point too much. Lots and lots to dig into here. If you guys want to research more about this, there's another article here that gets into that. I've linked in the description, so you can check that out. I'm going to move forward, and we can go straight over to Gotham Knights. This is a video game, guys. So did you guys ever play the Arkham Knight series or the Arkham series on either PlayStation or Xbox or I think they even had it on PC? It's a phenomenal game series. If you played Spider-Man on PlayStation 4, it's the same. It's kind of the same thing, just at night always, pretty much. And it's in Gotham instead of New York City, but it's the same idea. And then the gameplay style is incredibly similar. It's like you have your attack button, you have a dodge, you have a parry, and you have all your gadgets and stuff. It's the same kind of game style as Spider-Man PS4, but just Batman, and the storylines are just awesome. What they do with the villains is original, but it's also like it's true to the characters, true to the storylines, and it expands it so well, so much. It's beautiful. I love it so much. Arkham Knight is one of my favorite games of all time. Gotham Knights is a sequel to that. So the developer behind Batman Arkham Origins revealed its new game, Gotham Knights, a co-op adventure. This is the interesting part, because it's now co-op, which that was something you couldn't do before in any of the Batman games because it was always single player. But now it's co-op, starring Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, as they protect the city following the apparent death of Batman. It's funny that they say the apparent death, which is what everyone kind of knows in their heart, that it's not true. Batman doesn't truly die. He might die, but it's like he's not really dead. He's out there somewhere. You just might not know it. How long do you have to wait? We don't know. But it says they'll face off against a villainous group known as the Court of Owls and other members of the Dark Knight's Rogues Gallery. They're pushing the Court of Owls a lot because it's a really, really cool, mysterious, well-written kind of villainous group with a really cool and iconic sort of Owlman figure known as Talon. He's their lead assassin, and it is a really, really interesting plot to follow. They covered it in Gotham a little bit. They'll probably cover it in the Matt Reeves Batman trilogy, and then they'll probably even cover it more in the Batman Matt Reeves trilogy series spin-off, which will also be run by Matt Reeves as producer. So I'm really excited. There's a lot going on here, but this game is shaping up. The trailer looks awesome, but there's also 7 minutes of gameplay, or like 8 minutes or something, that you can check out on YouTube as well, where it shows the different play styles a little bit. It focuses mostly on Batgirl's play style, which is closest to Batman. Each one has their own kind of unique style. Obviously, Red Hood is guns. He goes out guns blazing. Really, really cool looking. Probably a ton of fun. Great ranged attacks as well. There's the Tim Drake Robin, who is also known as Red Robin. He's very detective oriented, so in that way he's really close to Batman, but he also is a genius, and he taps into the Titans Tower. I was going to say the Justice League Tower to teleport. So one of his mobility abilities is teleporting. So yes, he can kind of get around. He can kind of glide around. Everyone's got a motorcycle, but he can also teleport, which is really cool. And a lot of his stuff is staff oriented because he uses staffs, but he's got a really cool gadget oriented fighting style. Then there's Nightwing, who's the high flyer, obviously. He's doing a lot of tricks and kicks and flips and a lot of high flying acrobatic action. So he's great, and obviously he's got his stun batons. I can't wait to play as him. He's gonna be, I think he might be my favorite, but just because I've played the game series so long, I think the most natural person to play as will, in fact, be Batgirl, because her gameplay style looks almost identical to Batman, but they've added a few new upgrades, like she can summon the bats as a distraction, as kind of a weapon, and a means for cloaking. And then also, she does a lot of really savage, like, airdrop moves that are, like, she drops out of the sky and then tackles people, and her weapons are also stun batons, similar to Nightwing's, which is really cool. That was something that Batman also could do, like, he had stun gadgets, but I think theirs are going to be much more heavily focused on those as their primary method of attacking. I'm really excited. It looks really good. It looks like it's actually going to be a really smooth transition going from, like, Arkham Knight into this, especially being that Jason Todd was one of those integral characters in the story plot in the previous games. And then obviously Tim Drake, but it's funny because Tim Drake actually looks younger here than he did in Arkham Knight, which is weird. So, but anyway, we'll see. And Nightwing, of course, everyone wants to play as Nightwing, so I can't wait. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you think about the trailer there. Are you gonna play it? Do you play enough games? Do you care? I usually cover movies and TV on this channel, but I do sometimes cover games. Like I covered the lead into Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I've covered some Spider-Man PS4, and then this is a game series I'm definitely going to be following. So super, super cool. The Flash. Let's cover this. There's another. Obviously, you guys have heard about the movie. If you saw the Greg Berlanti Arrowverse TV crossover on CW, then you also saw Ezra Miller make his cameo towards the end of that. I think it was the last episode or the second to last episode. But Ezra Miller popped up alongside Barry. I almost said Barry Allen, but it's they're both Barry Allen. But Grant Gustin's Flash. And that was a really cool cameo and tons of other things. And now we know Michael Keaton is coming into this movie because Barry Allen is going to be time jumping to different universes and worlds. And so he's going to kind of expand and open up the multiverse. I do believe we're going to hear more about this film in the next online, what's it called? Panel or like online con. From DC, and I'll talk about that at the very end because there is an announcement about that. More to come. If you want to join on those and watch those live, you can, and I'll make sure you know exactly when that's going to be. But really, really cool. Not a lot known, but it does say there's a new costume. You can see this image here was created. Concept art for Barry Allen as well. This is Ezra Miller, Barry Allen. New costume, really cool, like flowy kind of design, as opposed to the really like. I guess it's like sharp edges of the Justice League version. And then you also see Michael Keaton's Batman behind him. Obviously, he's going to be much older, but I can't freaking wait to see Keaton back in the suit. It's going to be super cool. I loved Keaton. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump to the next one. The next one is The Suicide Squad by James Gunn. And so you guys, most people who found my channel probably found it through my video about James Gunn and the Brightburn trailer. That was one of my biggest videos. I think it's got like 33,000 views on there, which is enormous for my channel. I mean, that's like I'm one of the smallest YouTube pundits on YouTube, on the platform. I'm like 580. I don't even know what I am. 580 or something like that subscribers, which I'm extremely grateful for. Worked a really long time to get. But, you know, 33,000 views is like that. That's like, wow, I'm blown away. You guys probably found me through that. I predicted that he was going to go over to DC after he was done with Sony. And then shortly after that, it was confirmed. And it was verified. And I did suggest that he was going to either do Man of Steel 2 or that he would do like something like the Suicide Squad, which would be the obvious next step. Because it's the same idea as Guardians of the Galaxy, ragtag group of misfits and supervillains effectively who come together for a mutual goal to save their own hides, which is the same idea as the Suicide Squad. They're forced to do these actions to save their own life because there's a bomb planted in their head. So like it's the same kind of idea except for there's coercion. And these guys, the Suicide Squad, are primarily really, really, really bad people, whereas the guys in Guardians of the Galaxy are usually just like thieves, rogues, and liars And a couple of them were villains outright, but this one much more so. And I think this is a lot closer to what James Gunn is more about. I'm not exactly sure what to expect. If you see the trailer, it does get you really excited. The sneak peek, they've got a crazy killer cast. The cast is insane. Like, in fact, I'm gonna go over here and just show you the cast. Like John Cena here as Peacemaker. It took me a while because I couldn't see who was playing Peacemaker, but they also had like this video. I'm not gonna play it just because if I might get like pulled down or something if they catch the audio or whatever. But really, really cool. They've got gnarly, like Nathan Fillion is playing a character called TDK, who some believe to be Arm Fall Off Boy or something. And there's speculation about who that might be. We don't really know. It could be a totally original character, or it could be a play off of another guy who was like the first person kicked off of the Justice Society team, and now would obviously be older, and that would be Nathan Fillion. So it could very easily be that person, which would be a hilarious add-on. It doesn't do a lot for James Gunn though, being that the character was created by someone who is now a convicted pedophile, but which is the whole idea behind why James Gunn was fired was because of his 10,000 tweets, which were about pedophilia. So didn't help his cause. But if this is the case, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's just, it'd just be an odd coincidence. But but nevertheless, the movie is starting to shape up to look really, really cool. The cast has been cool since day one. Look at this cast. It would take me a long time to read this, but you've got like ridiculous characters. Bloodsport by Idris Elba. Obviously, Harley Quinn's coming back. Amanda Waller's coming back. Sean Gunn's playing Weasel after he played Rocket, which is funny. And that's also kind of like another nod back to Guardians of the Galaxy and sticking it back to Marvel. Is like, look, Sean Gunn goes wherever James Gunn goes. And Sean Gunn, who played Rocket, is now playing Weasel. So he played a raccoon, now he's playing a weasel. Interesting. And then Pete Davidson plays Blackguard. Daniela Melchior plays Ratcatcher 2. Joel Kinnaman plays Colonel Rick Flag. He's coming back. He was already there. Jai Courtney's coming back. He played Captain Boomerang. Nathan Fillion had a slight sort of cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and he was also a cameo, or he played, I think it was 2 vocal roles, in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, which were not the same role that he played in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But Nathan Fillion's a friend of James Gunn's as well. He's really funny. He's playing that TDK, which could be an original character, or it could be a retcon version of the Justice Society kid that got kicked out. Also, we have Steve Agee plays the on the set King Shark, and John Economos. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how to say that, but basically there's King Shark. Myling Ong. I'm going to read this whole list anyway. I've already started. I'm halfway there. Myling Ong plays Mongol. David Dastmalchian plays Polka Dot Man. He was in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And he's a really weird, funny guy. But Polka Dot Man is a really interesting character for DC. There's a character similar, I guess, called The Spot from the Spider-Man lore. And I would be really interesting to see. I don't actually know a lot about most of these characters. It's kind of like how Guardians of the Galaxy works, where like nobody knew who they were before the film. Everyone started researching them, and then all the famous YouTubers like did all the research for everybody, and then everyone like kind of got caught up last second, and then saw the movie and then was like, oh, this is what it is. And then everybody liked it. I think that's kind of gonna be the same thing here, except for we can probably expect most of these people to die in this film. So if James Gunn comes back to do a third one, we're going to have a problem because a lot of these people are not going to survive, almost guaranteed. In fact, I would be willing to bet that there's probably going to be like 5 people at the end of this film that survive. And one of them might be Amanda Waller might not be one of the people that survives. We don't know. Who knows? But it's let's continue. Alice Braga plays Sol Soria. I don't know who that is. John Cena plays Peacemaker. Heck yeah, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be cool. I really do like John Cena, and I know that he's not the best actor in the world, but that doesn't matter to me. Like, put him in the roles that he's going to be good in. Like, if you want to put him into Marvel, for instance, make him and Terry Crews and, you know, like a bunch of like gigantic ripped super athletes, make them be characters that are like that. Like, for instance, one that I can think of off the top of my head is do a film about the Wrecking Crew. Like, you know, from the Thor/Spider-Man kind of mythos, guys from Earth, you know, who are in construction demolition, they get into they find their way to Asgard and get their construction equipment and demolition equipment blessed, and then they get the powers of Asgardian gods, come back to Earth, and then start robbing banks like knuckleheads. But you could have John Cena play someone like that because it could be comedic, but also like threatening, imposing, and just over the top, action packed. It could be awesome. Or you could have him play Rhino or something like. Oops, what just happened? Where did it go? You guys are getting a sneak peek. Anyways, oh yeah, here we are. Sorry guys, I pushed a button on my mouse and it jumped. Okay. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, Juan Diego Boto plays Presidente General Silvio Luna. Never heard of him. Peter Capaldi plays the Thinker. He was the villain in The Flash. I can't remember if it was season 5 or something, but it was the guy, obviously, with the brain. The Thinker. He's probably one of the most unique villains on the show. But Peter Capaldi is going to play him, except for probably not in the chair. And Michael Rooker plays Savant. Flula Borg plays Javelin. Joaquin Cosio is Mayor General Mateo Suarez. Jennifer Holland plays Amelia Harcourt. Sorry, guys. And Storm Reed plays Tyla. So that was like a long freaking main cast. And think about this. That's the main cast. That's crazy. Huge lineup. It's going to be wild. You guys have to see the trailer. But anyways, James Gunn's been tweeting the heck out of it. But I won't belabor that point any longer than I already have. Probably want 10, 15 minutes on that one topic. So anyways, a lot to go on there. August 6, 2021, Suicide Squad's coming out. And a lot more coming. Again, there's plenty coming up about Guardians of the Galaxy and other things. But that's Marvel. We're talking DC here. So Suicide Squad is getting a game from Rocksteady. And this one is also going to be up to 4-player co-op on PlayStation 5. The new console that'll be coming out, Xbox Series X and PC in 2022. So I will most likely be getting this on PC. I'm gonna be honest. I might buy a PlayStation 5. I don't think I'm gonna buy an Xbox Series X. Probably not. Depends on what my homies are gonna buy. You guys let me know which one you guys are getting, or if you're gonna stick to PC gaming like Henry Cavill. I play PC more than anything. So I'll probably be doing PC or PlayStation 5. We'll see. But anyway, it looks freaking great. I can't wait to play as Deadshot or Captain Boomerang looks really interesting. They all look really fun. And obviously you're going to probably unlock a bunch of characters along the way. But it's literally Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's the name of the game. So cool. And the whole plot is that Brainiac, you know, corrupts the Justice League. So there's a reason for them to go after the Justice League, not just because they are villains. And Amanda Waller is the one who sends them out. So it's pretty cool. And the dialogue is hilarious. It's probably going to be rated M, obviously. I mean, I can't see a way it's not rated M. In fact, from the trailer, I can guarantee you it's going to be rated M. So if you're young, don't watch the trailer. But because I'm pretty sure there's some language there. But anyway, that being said, check it out. Really fun. It looks fun. I'm going to probably play it. So here we go. Black Adam. This I am super pumped for. Look at this logo. It just looks dope. They put out 2 teaser trailers, I guess it is. And it's been so long in the making. Dwayne Johnson's more jacked than ever. They announced that Noah Centineo is going to play Atom Smasher, which is super tight, both as the character and also I think the cast is pretty cool. We'll see, though. And the Justice Society of America. There was 2 teasers. One is just him talking, and the other one is him talking about the Justice Society specifically. There has been revealed that Hawkman, Cyclone, Dr. Fate, and then, of course, Atom Smasher is also going to be there. There's more there, and I've got the link to one of these up there as well. But you've got to check that out. A lot coming here. There was no like footage of Black Adam, but there were kind of like drawing, sort of animated, cartoony type trailers. I can't friggin' wait. It's gonna be so cool. And then obviously there's news about Aquaman and Shazam 2. So I'll just go ahead and skip forward about that. But let me know if you're most excited about that or what you're excited about. And then also the fact that they're building into the Justice Society means he's probably gonna kill the Justice Society. Maybe get trapped back again and then re-released later. And Shazam 2 is got a new name. I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about Aquaman, then I'll go back to Shazam 2 and reference Black Adam. So it says Aquaman. The Aquaman panel only provided a tease of what to expect for the eventual Aquaman sequel, with director James Wan noting that the movie will be a little bit more serious. Sorry, guys. Kind of running on some fumes here. And a little bit more relevant to the world that we're living in today. The movie is currently scheduled for a 2022 release date. Now, it's interesting that he says, and there's one thing, and you guys know that this is like I've kind of converted my channel slightly to what I call salt, where I'm going to just be a little bit more open, a little bit more honest with you guys about my thoughts, about what I want to offer. Because I don't want to just give you guys the news and walk away feeling like I didn't say something I should have, right? And so like that, to me, that's dishonest. I don't want to do that. I want to, and I also am not trying to just shove stuff in your face, but I want to tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm thinking about as it pertains to maybe if it comes up a little bit of my political perspective, not necessarily politics exactly, but as it pertains to these things, some social elements do cross over into a political sphere. And I would like to address that. I hope that when James Wan says that it's going to be a little bit more serious, I do think that that's a good thing. I think that was one of the main critiques about Aquaman, was that it was a little silly, and that some people called it a little bit campy. I'm not even exactly sure what campy means as a definition, but I've heard that a lot from a lot of reviewers. They use that word, and I don't seem to get a clear definition about that. But I think what they mean by that is it's like a little silly. And it was a little bit silly. I mean, there was plenty of jokes there that were more on the silly edge, but I think what he's going to try to do is take a little bit of the Joss Whedon Aquaman out of it and put a little bit more of what we're probably going to see from the Snyder Cut of Aquaman. Less humor, a little bit more raw, intimidating, that sort of thing. So we're probably going to see a slightly more intimidating, kingly Aquaman, kind of like how he was in the Injustice series, which would be really cool. I'm deriving that of my own thoughts and speculations, but he did say a little bit more serious. That's kind of what I think we're going to see. And then a little bit more relevant to the world to the world that we're living in today. This I am a little bit worried about. I do hope that this does not mean that he is intending to get woke, because I don't think there could be anything worse for the DC fandom or franchise than getting political or woke right now, or trying to make it more involved in like real world stuff. If it's something that's a really hot button, hot debated topic, it's not going to bode well for DC. You'll probably end up getting stuff like boycotts. You'll probably end up getting really harsh critical reviews, and people will have more reason to hate it. And I don't think they need that right now, especially coming off of Aquaman. Some people suggested that it was a little bit more like Joss Whedon-esque. I didn't feel that it was more Joss Whedon-esque, because Aquaman was a great movie. But that being said, Aquaman was enjoyable and humorous. And I think humorous was the aspect people weren't expecting from Aquaman based on the trailers mostly. I do think that they did a great job with the villains not going humorous, because like Patrick Wilson's character wasn't humorous. I mean, I think there might have been like one line, but it was delivered towards him, not from him. And then also like Black Manta was also extremely serious, and we're probably going to see more of that. I can't wait to see what they do there. I'm really excited for Aquaman 2. I can't wait to hear what they say. Again, it's scheduled for a 2022 release. So that's all I'll say about that. I really hope that they are trying to make money and not just make a point, because that would be very divisive, and I don't think they need that. Anyway, Shazam 2 says, see, I shared my opinion. Hopefully that's not like too much for anybody. And if it is, take it easy. It's not about you. You clicked on my channel. All right, so Shazam 2 says, Shazam's fandom panel revealed. Oh, this one was interesting. So it says here, the fandom panel revealed the title of the November 4th, 2022. That's the date it's releasing. Sequel, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Now, what is it saying here? Is it talking about like the new gods? I don't think so. Is it talking about like, what does it mean when it says gods? Well, here's one thing, is that Shazam, his powers are kind of powers derived from mythical, polytheistic, pagan ideas, pagan gods, like Hercules and Zeus and that Hermes and that sort of thing. But also, like, so are Black Adam. So Black Adam's powers are from older mythologies, different characters, like these mythical legendary deities, and they get their powers from them. Fury of the Gods. I think this is going to be it's like Clash of the Titans, basically, where Shazam and the polytheistic characters he represents, and then also the polytheistic characters that, for instance, what I think is going to happen is probably going to be Black Adam and the characters he represents, where he gets his powers from, are probably going to have to collide and duke it out. And in fact, I do think there might be more than that. I think that we might see Henry Cavill's Superman make an appearance here. It would be legendary if that was the case. I don't know that that's the case, and there's nothing that tells me that would be. But they always refer to Superman as a Christ figure, as a God figure, and he is kind of like the God to these men. Kind of like he represents kind of Jesus. Like he came from like a world that exists in the heavenlies, and then he's the son of one of these beings who sent him here to save the planet, to be their savior, their hero. And that's kind of like, even the Doomsday arc kind of gives him the same idea, that he dies and then he has to resurrect and comes back. And so he's very much a Christ figure. But I also think it's interesting because Shazam 1 was very humorous. Shazam 2 will probably also be humorous, but it's probably going to be less humorous and more serious if it involves, for instance, Black Adam. Or if it involves Henry Cavill as well, it'll probably still have humor. But what we might also see, like the death of the Shazam kids. Like we might see something like that happen, or maybe one of them dies. Would be horribly tragic, but it would be interesting to see, and it would be a huge spectacle to watch. I can't wait to see what they do. But this was interesting. Sinbad, the comedian and actor, he did an extended appearance. The panel included an extended appearance by Sinbad, and it's hard to tell if he's actually part of the movie or if he was just there to pump up the panel's humor, because obviously Shazam's a comedy. It's the first comedy, I believe. I mean, technically, I guess you could say Suicide Squad is kind of a comedy, but not really. It's like a dark comedy, but Shazam was a comedy, like a legit comedy. And Sinbad, I think one of the reasons why they brought Sinbad there actually is because of the I think there's a Mandela effect where people believe that either Shaquille O'Neal or Sinbad was Shazam, when really it was Shaquille O'Neal. People think Sinbad played Shazam, but really it was Shaquille O'Neal playing Kazam. So they probably invited Sinbad to make that even worse and play and then announce the panel for Shazam. That's hilarious. I just realized that right now. I think that DC was messing with the fans by bolstering the Mandela effect, making people think that Sinbad played Shazam when really it was Shaquille O'Neal playing Kazam. Pretty sure that's what it was. Dude, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh, that's genius. whoever's doing that work over there at DC, bravo. I hope that you continue doing things like that, because that just made my day. That's awesome. All right, so then I'll skip ahead. Again, Shazam 2, everything about Shazam 2 makes me more excited for Black Adam, and everything about Black Adam makes me more excited for Shazam 2, and hopefully potentially seeing Henry Cavill in one of those two films. I am flipping excited. Sandman, this is interesting. So my good friend, Comic Man Jake, and my buddy, who has been lighting up the chat this entire time, Nerdy Blurb TV. I will read those comments. Just give me 1 sec, because I'm trying to jet through this, and I said I was going to try to keep it under an hour, but we'll see how long I'm actually going. Anyway, well, how long is it? Yeah, I'm almost to an hour. Jeez, there's still plenty to get through, but whatever. I'm close to the bottom. Sandman. Sandman is an adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman comic story, the books. Was announced for Netflix last year, and the creator teased additional details during a Saturday panel. Gaiman confirmed work on Sandman for Netflix is still continuing, and it will be slightly looser, and I think he's referring to the timeline. Looser, based on timeline, probably a little bit story, but still faithful to the books. Gaiman said the pandemic has allowed for more work on the scripts, along with further tailoring for the story to fit a different time period. And then it shows an image here, which is really cool, really interesting. But it says, what we're doing with Netflix is saying, okay, it's going to start in 1916, but the thing that happens in Sandman #1, the point the story starts, is not 1988, it's now. So he's basically saying, we're going to adjust the timeline a little bit. But yes, we're going to try to keep it very faithful, just adjust the timeline. More details about the Netflix adaptation can be found on our sister game site, GameSpot. I haven't linked this one, but you can actually just find it by clicking this link, which is here. The link to this entire page is in the description. Then you can just go down here and click here, and that'll take you there. So, but also my buddy, Comic Man Jake, was telling me and our friend Nerdy Blurb over a conversation that we had. He said, if you need a Sandman fix in the meantime, it was recently adapted for Amazon's Audible and is an incredible cast. He was telling me that storyline for Sandman on the Audible is insanely good. You should totally check it out. I have not yet checked it out, but I probably will in anticipation for this. So, and per the recommendation of Comic Man Jake, who is the man when it comes to recommending comics and stories. So check that out. Check him out as well. And let's go on to the next piece of news. So the next piece of news here is Titan Season 3. Titan Season 3, if you guys have been watching, Titan Season 1 was good. There was a little bit of editing issues. It was actually dark, and I don't mean story-wise or content-wise. I mean, it was actually, the visual display. The editors of the video content had the brightness far too low. It was really low, and it was saturated with a blue hue that was annoying at times. You actually couldn't see what was going on in many of the scenes, and I think that might have been due to budget, cheap budget. They were probably trying to hide a lot of what the set looked like in actuality, but that's just speculation. They corrected that for Season 2. Season 2 did not have that problem at all. In fact, the last few episodes of Season 1 didn't have that problem. So, it was an obvious find as an error, but it's not the end of the world. The show was actually still really good. And Season 3, I'm really excited to see what they do in Season 3. It says here, Titans, the marquee series of the DC Universe streaming service, had its third season teased during the DC Fandom. And this time, it's going straight to Gotham City, reports GameSpot. Titans' third season will see Jason Todd, played by Curran Walters, become Red Hood after leaving the Robin identity behind. Most of us had already seen this coming. I mean, we kind of saw this with the introduction of the character, just the way that they were kind of building it. And then there was a few things along the way that kind of showed he was going in that direction, which is, it's good. That's what you would want for having Jason Todd in the story. It says the show will also make way for Barbara Gordon, former Batgirl turned Gotham City Police Department commissioner, as well as Dr. Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow. Casting for those latter two characters was not announced. And the third season's release date is unclear, but it'll be available on HBO Max. This is one thing that people saw a long time ago, is that a lot of the content that started on DC Universe has since been pulled off and put onto HBO Max. It's the same parent company. DC's owned by Warner Brothers, and HBO Max is owned by Warner Brothers. So they're able to do this, and I think one of the reasons why they did that was because DC Universe was supposed to be a streaming service that was meant to sort of compete with Disney Plus, just as a filler until they could launch HBO Max. They were not prepared to launch HBO Max, but they had some stuff in place to just get the DC stuff on its own platform. But I think as far as funding goes and just getting a broader audience, it's more conducive for them financially, more possible and plausible to just consolidate, get it all on one platform. That way all your customers come to the same place, and they can have all that same, like, the money will stay there, the revenue will stay there. You have access to the anime, you have access, because Crunchyroll is also owned by Warner Bros, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. HBO Max has the deal with them. Crunchyroll, all of that anime is coming on to HBO Max as well. I believe it might already be there. I'll have to fact check that as far as timeline. I think it's already there. But you guys can tell me if you already have the streaming service. But I do know that they have a deal, and it will be there if it's not already there. And so, yeah, that's just something to note. Plenty of stuff coming there. I don't see DC Universe streaming service sticking around very long, except for their comic reader application, because that comic reader application is actually quite good. It's really, especially if you have like an iPad or a tablet, it's the perfect setup. Like, you just click it and you're just reading comics, and like it can go panel to panel, full screen. It's really, really good. Like, really smart, easy. Not like I haven't found any glitches with it. You can do it on your television, your computer. It's just great. Like, if you want a comic reader and you want access to loads of comics, DC Universe, it's a great application. It's not very expensive, and you get tons of content. All the old classic, like the Adventures of Lois and Clark. You can get the old, like, the Wonder Woman series, lots of the old, like, Super Friends and that sort of thing. It's all on there. So unless they transfer everything over to HBO Max and you have literally no reason to stick around on the other site, I think that the comics is going to be the main draw for the DC Universe streaming service. And then also, if they keep that older content on there, if they continue to upload more and more of that older content and keep it exclusive, then you'll have a reason to stay. Otherwise, I think they're going to dump everything onto HBO Max, and I hope they bring over the comic reader, because that is one of its primary draws. And one of the things that's different from any other app, because I don't think anyone else has a reader like that. So, yeah, it's a great service that they have on there. Enough of that. So then that was kind of a bit of a data dump, but that's my thoughts. So hopefully that's helpful. The Flash season 7. I'm actually quite behind on The Flash, and so I didn't do a ton of research into this announcement. In fact, I watched the trailer one time because it's kind of spoilery for me, because I did not see the last season. And so I was kind of bummed that I watched this trailer, because now I kind of know where it's going. But I wanted to watch it just so I knew what I was talking about when I said this for you and reported it for you. But that's the sacrifice I make for you guys. So it says the Flash TV series is among many whose previous season was shortened by the coronavirus pandemic, but a peek into the 7th season of the Arrowverse show made its debut Sunday. The teaser picks up from season 6, leaving Iris West, Candice Patton, the actress, inside of a mirror universe and faced with a choice between surviving and going mad. And then it just says more information can be found. Patton, the actress, Candice Patton, discussing how when you're standing up for other people, being labeled difficult is fine if that means sticking up for what is right. And that, you know, I think that's an empathetic message that a lot of people would cling to. I'm not sure if that's necessarily true, but it sounds good. So make of that what you will. It depends on what you mean by difficult. Because like from the trailer, and again, I didn't see the show, it looked like she had her like whole perspective shifted, so where she was kind of a bad guy. That's kind of what I saw based on the trailer. But again, Please correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously I'm telling you I don't know, because I didn't see the previous season. All I'm seeing is this recap on the trailer. So, but it looks good. And by the way, I love Grant Gustin's suit. Grant Gustin's Flash suit looks sick. They totally corrected that. There was a couple seasons, I can't remember if it was like 3 or 4. I did not like that suit. There was like, when they first cut it, like, so it was like straight across, and then it didn't have any chin strap whatsoever. I did not like that. I like him with the chin strap. I think it looks really good. But anyway, so this is the last thing, guys. So it says here, what's with the September event? So the September event is the next kind of fandom event. And so on September 12th, make sure you set your calendar, set your reminders, so that you won't forget this. But September 12th, DC will offer a second virtual event starting at 10 a.m. PT. What is that? Pacific? No, because PST is Pacific Standard Time. I'll just look this up. But anyway, it says 10 a.m. PT. I'll find out which time zone that is. It'll be called DC Fandom Explore the Multiverse. And instead of just a rolling schedule of panels, fans can choose their own schedule from the on-demand selection of panels. There's not a lot to say here except for set your calendar, because what they did with this fandom event was release all of this information to everyone so that everyone could see all these trailers, they could see the videos, they could see the custom messages that were sent from the actors and actresses and the directors and the producers and everybody about what's going on. And this is what they're going to do for all of us again, except for this time, if we go down here, it says that you can just click on the DC Fandom Explore the Multiverse. In fact, the website might be up. Let me just see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that website. Yeah, so you just go here and you make a schedule. So I'm going to make sure that this volume is off so you can't hear it. But you can see what's going on. Joel Kinnaman, Kristen Wiig, Jai Courtney, Zack Snyder. You can see everybody here. That's the chick from Titans. She plays Raven. Michael Rooker, Patty Jenkins. Everybody's here. They've got tons of videos and behind the scenes and footage from previous cons and stuff like that. But they tell you everything that's coming up, and it's really cool. And so they say, here's the countdown: 16 days, 10 hours, 37 minutes, 24. This is live. And by the way, I'm live. So if you're watching live, this is live. So you can see this is exactly when it is, and you can make your schedule. So you can create like, okay, this is how I want my scheduled day to go to receive those videos uploaded onto this website so I can learn about what's going on. Really cool. I actually really enjoy this format, but it's something that you can do with your friends. Like you can actually have people over and be like, oh dude, look at this. This is so cool. And like, and you know, and you can geek out, or you can all just plan to do it at the same time. You know, and text each other like the links to the videos and that sort of thing. So really, really fun. You can follow them on TikTok, which is no longer Chinese spyware, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all kinds of platforms. But it's really cool. Like you can see, they put a lot of work into this, showing the trailers for the video games that are coming out, the upcoming movies. That looked like, did that just show, like, was that Lego Batman or was that Lego Batman 2? Hold on, that matters a great deal to me. Here we go. That looks like it might have been the scene from Lego Batman 1, but I freaking love the Lego Batman. That is no joke. Even more, and I tell you with the most sincerity of my heart, as truthfully as I possibly can generate. You know, I'm not telling you anything that I don't mean. I tell you the truth every time I tell you. Lego Batman is my favorite Batman movie of all time. Live action or not, it is my favorite Batman movie of all time. I love the Lego Batman movie. And I can't wait for Chris McKay to just get it on and make another one. Make another Lego Batman. But I think he's waiting for another round of Batman films to come out. Like he wants he wants more content to poke fun and love at. So like once the Matt Reeves Batman films start to come out, maybe the first one comes out, then the show comes out, he might include like Gotham and then the new Gotham show and then the Batman Matt Reeves, and then he might include the Joker movie, then he might include the Suicide Squad and like a bunch of the other stuff, and just poke fun at all that has been going on in all of DC fandom since, which will be really fun because that's what he did with the Lego Batman, and I love it. Because I'm a fan of the content, and I'm a fan of the fandom. Do you understand? So like, I'm a fan of both. I'm a fan of every individual thing that comes through the fandom, but I'm a fan of the fandom as it is as a whole as well. So like, I love celebrating the fact that we celebrate Batman. So like, I appreciate all these things. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. So now you guys have gotten the whole gist, and that is that. And I think I actually did time that out pretty well. Yeah, it's like an hour and 8 minutes. Okay, so I'm a little bit over where I wanted to be, but nevertheless, I did have to restart this video at the beginning, so that's probably why I'm a little bit past. So if you're watching this and I've already cropped it, then you know, it's because I cropped it. So the beginning part, I didn't have my audio on, which is a rookie mistake, which I make frequently. So forgive me for that. But anyways, thank you guys for sticking around. Make sure to let me know in the comments if you guys first need prayer. Second of all, what you guys are most excited about from this fandom experience, and what movie you're most excited about, what game you're most excited about, what show you're most excited about, and then what trailer did you like the most. And I'll go over the list really quick. For movies, we have Wonder Woman 1984, October 2nd, 2020. The Suicide Squad, August 6th, 2021. We have Black Adam. Logo was revealed. No timeline, though. The Flash. Oh, and the Justice Society is going to be part of that. The Flash movie, sometime in 2022. We have Aquaman 2, 2022. Shazam 2. Fury of the Gods is the official title. November 4th, 2022. The Batman, October 1st, 2021. Super pumped about that. Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, which is a 4-part installment on HBO Max, 1 hour each installment. I don't know if it's an episode technically, but I guess so. So 4 episodes to make up the entirety of the Justice League. I can't wait. That's going to be awesome. That's technically a movie, even though it's 4 parts. TV shows, we have Gotham City Police Department show. Not sure what the official title is yet, but it's about Gotham, based on the Matt Reeves Batman universe with Robert Pattinson. So, and I'm not sure if he's going to be in that directly, but it's looking pretty cool as far as what we know so far. Could be Court of Owls, League of Shadows, or just villains in general. Maybe the ones that we've already seen. Maybe they had to sign up those actors for TV show parts as well. Sandman on Netflix is also coming with no release date in sight. No cast either, but it should be pretty good if it's anything close to the Audible version. People really like that story and storyline. Titan Season 3 on HBO Max, unknown date. That's another TV show. And then The Flash Season 7 has been confirmed for January 2021. Really freaking cool. Now, as for games, we have a couple of options here. We have Gotham Knights, which is an extension of the Arkham series. And it'll be a co-op adventure with the sidekicks. So it's going to have Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood, and Batgirl. The Robin is Tim Drake. And sometime in 2021, that'll be really cool. And then Suicide Squad video game from Rocksteady 2022, co-op up to 4 players, PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. And then, of course, the DC Fandom Experience, which is coming again in the not so distant future. Here on the screen, you can see September 12th. It's going to be a good time. So what are you most excited about? Thank you for letting me recap all of that, because that was a ton to recap. I just heard a boom go off. That sounded fairly close too. I'll try to end this soon. Anyway, maybe you guys should be praying for me. So we have, let me just go over the comments really quick, and then I'll share with you guys a couple of verses before we close out, just to encourage you guys in these confusing times. So let's go over these. Nerdy Blurb TV says, we have all that Cali smoke here in Utah. Hope you're safe and well, my friend. Yes, we're safe. We are well. The smoke is starting to clear, but there is still plenty of smoke being produced. But we were able to see the sky today, which was nice. So that's good. And the air quality is starting to feel better, but that could change again depending on how the wind shifts. I hope you guys are doing okay on your side as well, because I know Colorado was on fire when we were visiting as well. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Nerdy Blurb TV says, I feel like everything is very hyped up, but people should remember DC's track record. LOL. I'm hopeful though. And yeah, so I'm hopeful for pretty much everything here. You know me. I'm like the eternal optimist. I give everything a fair chance. I always give I start with everything kind of starts at a clean slate because you really don't know if it's going to be positive or negative. Even history with a director doesn't really mean anything. Like you could have a killer director make a film and it just sucks. And then you could also have a really crappy director make a film that turns out beautiful and well done. So like you just don't know. It's always about execution. You could have the best cast in the whole world and the movie could still flop. Like you just don't, like look at Cats, for instance. There was plenty of great talented people in that movie and it was hot trash. It was garbage. So it was a literal nightmare. So then yeah, so I'm actually mostly excited. So it says Nerdy Blurb TV says, not a part of the DCEU, sure. I'll believe it when I see it. LOL. They said that about the Joker too. Well, technically speaking, the Joker is not really part of the DCEU, except that now that the CW crossovers happened and now they're kind of like, they're starting to listen to the fans more and give the fans what they want. The fans at large, not every fan, but the fans at large, most people, especially the most vocal, want a multiverse. They want everything to sort of, in a way, distantly be connected. They want to be able to have a cameo with someone here, come back here, or they just want, at the very least, they want to give the message to DC, please don't stop making the films you were going to with, for instance, Batman or Joker, just because a Batman or Joker appeared in another property. Just keep making those properties. We can discern the difference between the different universes, which is why people push for a multiverse, not a shared universe. So there's a difference, right? The Marvel universe is a single shared universe, which will soon expand into the multiverse with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and also what they're doing over at Sony. And I've made videos about that. You can contest me in a different video. But with the DCEU, they're starting not with shared universe as much, because they do have a shared universe, which is Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Batman vs. Superman, all of those main films. And then there's side films as well that are kind of tertiary. Then there's a CW verse, which is shows and stuff like that. Then there's Titans, and there's like Swamp Thing, and literally everything they've ever made got united in the CW crossover, including the shared universe of the DCEU. So the DCEU is a shared universe, but a shared multiverse means non-connected stuff are technically connected. That's what the multiverse means. And that's like the ultimate freedom for a filmmaker, because they don't have to do anything that pertains to any of the other projects, but it's still technically connected. So that's kind of what they're doing. And they could use different actors for the same kind of character. They can use Robert Pattinson for Batman while Ben Affleck's Batman, while, you know, like Lane Glenn is playing Batman, while Michael Keaton's playing Batman, while everyone else is playing Batman. They can have their own Batman and do whatever the heck they want, because it's a shared multiverse, not a shared universe. See how that works? So universe is one, multiverse is multi, and that means that they're not really shared. It's just a multiverse. And so that's kind of the loophole. That's like the DC's perfect loophole. And it's a perfect loophole for screenwriters. Okay. So then Nerdy Blurb says agreed for sure. And then give us Joe. Yes, Joe Manganiello, dude. All friggin' day. All day long. Joe Manganiello Deathstroke. His suit was so perfect. He's the perfect actor. I can't... Like, not that he's like the perfect actor, but he's the perfect actor to play Deathstroke. Like, he's intimidating. He's jacked. He's huge. And he's like... And he's also combat ready. Like, the dude can do some action. He had like exactly 5 seconds of action in the Rampage movie, which was it was bummer because I really wanted to see more of him, but his scene was really epic. Like him chasing after the wolf in the woods, and then yeah, and so I won't say, I mean, if you haven't seen it already, it's too late, you know, he gets eaten. But spoiler alert. But Nerdy Blurb TV says, I was also excited to see Joe as Deathstroke. Yeah, heck yeah. Spider-Man Show says, what's up, Daniel? Dude, what's up, man? It's good to see you. Spider-Man Show says, I think John Cena could also play Sandman in the MCU. Yes, dude, he would look really good as Sandman. He could play Sandman. He could also play, like I mentioned earlier, he could play one of the Wrecking Crew, or he could even get away with playing a Rhino. It just depends on how you want to play him. But clearly, like a bigger dude that's more bulky, muscular, you could totally get away with doing that. And Sandman, I've never heard anyone cast him as Sandman before, but I like that. I like what you just said. So that's good. And plus, Sandman is a more emotionally connectable character than the other guys I listed. Rhino's a knucklehead. Sandman is kind of a knucklehead, but he's a lovable knucklehead, and he's got a daughter. So there's a way to ground him as a human. Nerdy Blurb TV says, I can see that actually. And then Nerdy Blurb TV says, gotta go to bed. Bro, nice to see you, listen to you while I edit it up. Heck yeah, thanks, dude. I appreciate you commenting, supporting the channel, also letting me know that my audio was off. That would have been a huge bummer. So thank you for that as well. Appreciate you, bro. We'll talk soon, and we'll do a video soon. Spider-Man Show says, hopefully we get casting announcements in DC Fandom Day 2. Yeah, heck yeah. I'm really hopeful that we will get more going on soon. I know that there's the DC Fandom event coming up soon, the September event. There's going to be a lot going on, so stay tuned for that as well. And if there's any more announcements that come out, obviously on the coattails of everything that's been said already from like the directors or whoever, I'll try to keep up with those. Please send me links if you guys see it before I do. Yes, I'll cover these things. Really excited. There's plenty of that I do want to get to, but I also want to make sure that you guys are taken care of personally as well, spiritually, that sort of thing, because I do care about everyone who's watching. Like, it means a lot to me to know that you guys are okay, because with all the social distance, the isolation, schools shut down, jobs shut down, people are out of work, people don't have income. It can be really depressing. This is a really crazy year. It's not a good year, honestly. But I will say this, is that you're not alone. The struggle that you're going through is actually quite common. And so many people are experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. Even though you feel alone, even though you feel like you're going through it alone, you're really not. Everyone who's, like, if you're depressed, if you're feeling depressed or isolated or alone, guess what, dude? Everybody's feeling that right now. You're not alone. You're actually struggling together with everybody. And I hope that you know that, that I care about you and that I want to make sure that you're okay. So if you want me to pray for you, and if you want me to remember to pray for you and keep praying for you, just say, pray for me, or I appreciate your prayer, or just give me one of those emojis that does this, and I will be praying for you, because I really do care about you. I want to make sure that you're okay. And you can feel free to DM me, let me know what's going on. You don't have to put your business in the comments because people will see that. But you can feel free to let me know personally. I will pray for you. I'll send you a video praying for you in the DM or whatever, because I want to make sure you know that God loves you, that I love you, and that you're not alone, and you're not meant to be alone, and that this is all going to pass. So anyways, I do want to let you guys know that, and I'll close out with some verses just to give you guys a bit of an encouragement and maybe bolster your faith in prayer. That's probably not a phrase you've heard before, faith in prayer. I know a lot of people tried to make fun of prayer this last year when people would say like thoughts and prayers. Whenever there's a shooting, you always get a bunch of atheists that come out and say like what are your thoughts and prayers? Your thoughts and prayers mean nothing. That's literally nothing. They don't know. Like I got a question for you before we close out. Do you know everything? And I would imagine nobody here is going to say yes. If you think you know everything, then literally everything, then I think that you might be struggling with narcissism, but and might be detached from reality. But the obvious answer to that question is no. You don't know everything. But do you know half of everything? And everyone would probably agree, no, I don't. Let's pretend for the sake of argument that you know half of everything. Half. Is it possible that God, faith, and spiritual reality exists in the other half of everything that you don't know? The obvious answer is, from a scientific and literal basis, yes. Like, it has to be possible, because if you don't know, you don't know. And if half the world is telling you, yes, there are spiritual experiences and their prayer does work, and like, I do know God, like, then hey, guess what? It might be one of those things you just don't know yet. So I would encourage you to just like take a second, like humble yourself in your mind. Just say, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna acknowledge the possibility that there might be something out here that I don't know, and then just let me pray for you. And if that's, if you're going through something, what harm could it do? And just know that I do care and that I do want to pray for you, and that when I pray for you, this happens. There's a story in the Bible that talks about prophecy concerning Persia and Greece, and Persia and Greece. This is very old. This is a long time ago, but this was during the Persian Empire, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was, and this is in the book of Daniel in the Bible, chapter 10, and it talks about Daniel was called to prayer. There was a lot of persecution that was going on. He was living in a foreign land as a slave servant to the king. And it says, suddenly, as he was praying, he said, suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knees and the palms of my hands. And then he said to me, "Oh, Daniel, a man greatly beloved," meaning greatly beloved by God, "understand the words that I speak to you and stand straight up, for I have now been sent to you." While he was speaking this word to me, I stood trembling. So keep in mind, it doesn't say this clearly here, but the person that touched him was an angel. He had been praying for weeks for help and for understanding, for wisdom, because he was supposed to give an answer to the king that he did not have an answer to, and he basically just said, "I'm going to pray, and I'm going to pray. I'm going to keep praying." And that hand touched him and basically said, "Hey, man, I'm here. Thank you for praying. Took me forever, but let me explain." And he said, then he said to me, "Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand," which means he was praying for understanding, "and to humble yourself before God, and your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia," this is a demon that he's talking about, the prince of the kingdom of Persia, "withstood me 21 days, which means that he was making this angel, when Daniel was praying, an angel was sent by God. He's like, God said, "Okay, go help Daniel. Go give him that understanding from me. I got a message for him." Boom. Angel sent, and he's got to get through all this spiritual warfare that's happening in the spirit world, right? So if you guys have seen like Avatar or like The Legend of Korra, it really isn't anything like that. But if I can give you guys like a quick analogy that's like really rough, there's a spirit world, and it exists in the same plane as ours, but it's not physical, it's not tangible, it's spirit. We as individuals are spirit. We're a spirit, we have a soul, and we live in this body. And you do too. That's you. That's me. The spirit we cannot see, but we do suffer its effects all the time. And we can reap its benefits as well. But it says here, when the angel was sent to Daniel, it was crossing through the kingdom of Persia, and the prince, the demon of Persia, withstood the angel. They had to do battle for 21 days. And get that, that means that Daniel had to pray for 3 weeks. 3 weeks before his prayer was answered and he received the wisdom. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, one of the chief angels, Michael is the leader of God's army of angels. He said, he came to help me, for I had been left there alone there with the kings of Persia, with the demon lords of Persia. Now I have come to make you understand what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision refers to many days yet to come. I just wanted to say that really quick, but when I pray for you, when you pray, if you don't get an answer right away, first of all, there's 2 things at play. One is you have to be humble before God. You have to be honest and just and recognize that you're a sinner, recognize that you're not perfect, that you have disobeyed God, and that he is perfect, he is holy, he is good, but he also loves you. So that's the other part of that. But just basically know your place, right? Like, know that you are a sinful person and that God is God. And that he doesn't have to hear us, but he does. Now, the second thing is, he might have already answered you, but Daniel prayed for 3 weeks, and it was because he persisted in prayer, because he continued to pray, that his prayer was answered. With Daniel's continued prayer, the angel was able to continue to make war against the demons that were withstanding him, and then he was able to get that message, get that wisdom. What would have happened if he didn't continue to pray for 3 weeks? Think about that. That's crazy, right? 3 weeks? That doesn't mean he was on his knees for 3 weeks, but it does mean that he was praying probably on and off and off and on and on and off and off and on for 3 weeks. Whenever he got a chance to remember, whenever he wasn't actively working, maybe he was working when he was doing it. I drive for work a lot, so I pray while I'm driving. But pray for what you need, pray for what you want, and pray with humility before the God who answers these prayers. He's not a genie in a bottle just to grant wishes, but he does care about what you're going through, and he wants to help, but he's going to help in the way that he knows best, because you don't see what's going on in the spirit. You don't see what you're actually struggling with. Like if you're suffering from depression, is it just your circumstances, or are you being attacked? Are you being oppressed in the spirit? Like the angel was having to do battle with demons. You have to pray, right? You have to make war in the spirit. That's how we do that. Our weapon in a spiritual war is not physical, it's spiritual. We have to pray. And so I wanted to encourage you guys. Psalm 10 also talks here, and it says in verse 17, it says, Lord, you have heard the desire of the humble. You will prepare their heart. You will cause your ear to hear. And it says to do justice to the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may oppress no more. Really great verse, especially for today. So many people suffering. There's a lot of stuff involving justice going on right now in today's day and age. And we need to pray. Like, we need to humble ourselves. It says, Lord, you have heard the desire of the humble. Humble ourselves. Humble yourself. If you don't think your prayers are being answered, is it because you're praying with pride? Is it because you're proud? You see yourself as more important than perhaps you should? Or maybe you see yourself as more important than God. Maybe you see yourself, and that's a very cocky thing to say, but is it true? I've done that plenty of times, like where I've had to like go back and like humble myself. You know what? Like I came in pretty strong, feeling pretty good about myself. I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to pray. I'm going to recognize that God is good, God is great, and that the Creator has the right to judge his creation. He has the right to judge me, and he does judge me. He will judge me, but he loves me, and he grants grace and mercy. And I should be extremely grateful when I come to him. I should be extremely humble when I come to him, and then make my request known after I've humbled myself before him. And then he will hear. He hears the humble. That's the thing, is he hears the humble. So pray. Don't stop praying just because you feel like your prayer hasn't been answered yet. You don't know what's hindering that prayer. You need to keep doing battle. And so, for all you warriors, for all you heroes out there who never give up, like for instance, my boy does right here. Check this out. I think you guys will like this one. I just made this t-shirt. You guys remember Danny Delgado, the Bison Ranger from let me see if I can just click. You guys see this? I don't know if you can see this. Oh man. I gotta see if I can click on. I don't know how to change the angle on this. You guys see this? There's like mugs and stickers and stuff for the Danny Delgado t-shirt. Wish I could just blow this up. Anyways, there's a really cool shirt. In fact, I might even just go like this. There. Now you can see it. So now you see this TeePublic t-shirt that I made with Danny Delgado, Never Give Up. That's kind of what this says to me, is like when we pray, we should never give up. We should just continue to pray, ask for what we need, ask for what we want, but also humble ourselves, trust God, and trust that he does care about you, about your needs, about what you're going through, the struggles that you have, and he is working all things together for your good. Even the things we don't understand, even the things that are crazy, the things that are bad, things that don't make sense to us, things that seem purely bad, God works those things, even those, for good, for our good, and for his glory. And so I would encourage you, just hang tight. Let me pray for you before we go, and then we'll end this video, okay? So let me go ahead and, if you guys want to support me, just get yourself a t-shirt. They're discounted right now, 13 instead of 20. For 2 days, you can get this Danny Delgado shirt or a mug or a t-shirt, like a sticker, hoodie, masks even. I do masks and plenty of other things as well. This one here I also made, the Black Wild Force Ranger. I freaking love that one. Jack Guzman was the actor who played him. Props to him. Can't wait to see him in something else soon. Hopefully the Legend of the White Dragon. That'd be awesome. But anyway, a couple more comments, and then I'll pray us out, okay? So then Nerdy Blurb TV, oh no, I'm sorry, the Spider-Man show says, hopefully we can get cast announcements for DC Fandom, and then he says, I hope Joe Manganiello comes back as Deathstroke. Me too, my friend. Let me go ahead and just pray us out. All right. Heavenly Father, God, we just say thank you so much for this day. God, I thank you so much that you are good and you are kind and that you love every single one of us, every single person watching this live stream, every single one of us that are watching this after the fact it's been uploaded. I pray that you would continue to give us grace, Lord. Help us to see the sin in our life. Help us to see the things that we've disobeyed you on, Lord, the things that we have been ignorant towards. I pray that you would help us in that way. And I thank you that when your son died for us on the cross, that you forgave everything that we've done, past, present, and future, and that all we have to do is just say thank you and acknowledge our sin, ask for your forgiveness, and then we have it. Because you already paid for it, we just have to receive that gift. We have to let you pay for it, Lord, and that way we won't have to pay the penalty for our own sin, which is eternal death. I thank you so much that we don't have to do that, and I ask that you would bless every single person that's watching this live stream. I pray that you would open hearts, open eyes, open ears to hear what you want to say to all of us. I pray that you would humble every single one of us, Lord, including myself, and that we would be able to submit ourselves to you, and that we would start to understand your love for us, and that we would start to understand that you care, and that we're not just suffering in this life, and that there's no purpose, there's no meaning, and that we're just animals like some of the liars that write our textbooks tell us, Lord. But we're not. We were made special. We were made for a purpose. We were made in your image, and that we were made to love. We were made to be loved by you and to love others through you and for you, to show others your love. So I ask that you would bless the people on this live stream, Lord. I pray that you would bless the Spider-Man show. You bless Nerdy Blurb TV. You bless every single person that pops in and watches this at a later time, and that they would not have to suffer isolated much longer, Lord. They would know that you're with them. They know that I'm with them. That they would reach out if they need help, and that you would show them their purpose, Lord, and you would use them for your glory, and that they would have that fulfillment, Lord. We ask these things in your holy and precious name, Jesus. Amen. So, thank you for joining me in that prayer. If you guys stuck around till now, let me know if you need any prayer, if you need anything at all. I'll see what I can do. I don't have everything in the world. I'm not like rich, but I do have some things, and if I can help, I'll try. So I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the next live stream, and let me know what you want me to talk about next. Anyways, take care. Peace.